All that fancy technology rolling in here today. Thomas Keenan, Step It Up Academy, Step It Up Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, coming at you guys today from the home office. We're live today on Facebook too, which is not the norm for us, but figured, hey, we've got these tools, we've got this technology, this equipment. May as well leverage it a bit here. And I don't really live stream these podcasts very often. I have a couple times in the past, but today, Kaitlyn and I figured, hey, let's climb in here. We're going to record this conversation and dive in anyway. And Kaitlyn, literally being the social media doctor, said, why don't we put this on Facebook? And I said, oh, that'd be a great idea. Actually, I think it was the other way around, and I agreed and you agreed.
Yep.
So Kaitlyn has been a guest on this show. I don't know, once, twice, maybe three times. I don't even remember anymore. I feel like we speak literally every day because we do. And we'll dive into that. We'll dive into our relationship and what's transformed and what it's become. And it's something that I'm grateful for. But welcome back once again to the podcast. And I'm grateful to have you here with us.
I'm happy to be back on here, and I'm really excited that we're live streaming and get to chop it up. So thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, for sure. I think the last time you and I did this may have been about a year ago, maybe a little bit less. And we talked about a lot of things, and, we had a real honest conversation, really did. And it's wild how both of us have grown and evolved so much since we first met each other.
For real.
And I think it's really cool, especially, me being several years older than you, as you can tell by the gray hairs. Let me reframe the hairs.
Hey, I have one gray hair, so I'm
catching one out
up.
last week. That doesn't count. Don't give me that crap. Okay, don't even talk to me. I mean, I plucked one out of my nose yesterday. I know. I didn't want to admit it. It was so disturbing. I had to show Catherine.
That doesn't surprise me.
So we're here today, diving in. Want to kind of just give a life update. A lot of the things are going on for you, for me. We've been working together now as client for both of us, both of our businesses. I'm a client of yours, you're a client of mine. And it's like, hey, not only are we clients of each other, but we're team members of each other's too. It's like we dive into the back end of each other's business. It's like I find something cool, like something new in some software, some technology, some high level workflows. And if I go and I create it for myself, I'm like, hey, Kaitlyn, here it is. I send it over to you. And you being the action taker you are, you're like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. And I have a use case for it immediately. So I'm going to get to work and implement it. So we move very quickly and we get a lot of shit accomplished in a very short period of time compared to most. And I think it just takes a certain individual. It takes a certain level of nerdiness, a certain level of understanding what you truly want, and also understanding the capabilities of the tools that we have at our fingertips. Because the better that we understand them, the better we can help our clients understand them and implement them into their own businesses.
Exactly.
So I'm going to shut up here for a minute, because for those people who don't know who you are, I want you to explain what you do and why you do it and how you help people.
Yeah, so Kaitlyn Young, 28 here, been a business owner for almost 3 years now, which is insane. I own Social Media Doctor, which is a high-level social media agency that helps business coaches and contractors put themselves authentically online to help them gain clients that are ideal for them and help them brand themselves, man. So really excited that has just transformed, and to see how we've been able to help people in that venture. And it's just been an absolute crazy journey. Like you said, it's like I went from Walmart employee to insurance agent, and here we are. And I've been at this thing for almost 3 years now. So
yeah, it's wild, and I'm super proud of you for sticking through it. I know for a fact through several conversations of ours that it has not been easy for you from the get-go. You've hit a lot of bumps in the road. You've dealt with your fair share of bullshit and issues in your life, and your health being one of them has been a big thorn in your ass for a long time. And I also know that you've been on a hell of a journey to rectify some of those issues. And, it's funny, people like me and you, we get into this thing called business because we want the things that business provides. Yes, it provides the money, and it isn't necessarily the money that people are after. It's the freedom that you can get from business. And a lot of us start these businesses, and all of a sudden freedom goes out the fucking window because we're working 99 hours a day, even though it's not real, but you get what I'm saying. We overwork ourselves. And the health and fitness goes on the back burner of things. And it's one of those things where you've basically said, okay, cool. I understand I have to work a lot, especially in this initial startup phase of the business, but I also can't ignore me and myself. And a lot of the work you've been doing with Kaitlyn, right, who's my woman and a dear friend of yours, and also you got that client relationship, and it's we all do things together, and it's cool. Business, folks, business. But that's a lot of the stuff that you've been working on with her is kind of let's dial in the mindset. Let's overcome some of these hurdles and the self-limiting beliefs and the stories that we've been telling ourselves for years. And I'm guilty of it too. And she's helped me tremendously with it. Like, how do we fix these things so the rest of everything else gets better?
Yeah.
And it's wild to see things unfold when we do a lot of this work. And then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit. Like, I don't understand how that happened, but it did. So with that being said, I kind of want to transition and segue into some of the things that just happened this weekend for you. I want you to explain to people who are watching this show, whether it's the podcast or the live stream that we got going on today, explain to them the goal that you set for moving and how it has worked out especially over the last couple of days, but what led up to it. And then, yesterday's news and then today's news.
So it would be 1 second. I don't know what my phone is doing. Technology. I turned it off. It didn't listen. So yeah, it's been insane. So literally in our group meetings at Step It Up Academy and one-on-one with Catherine, like beginning of this year, I was like, we're moving to Texas, October of 2024. It's happening. Like, I just kept saying it. Did I know how we were going to get there? What was going to happen? Absolutely not. Did I know that we would be okay? Like, if Scott would need to get a job, what would happen? Like, I had no clue. But I kept putting it out there because through the mindset work that you were talking about that I've been doing with Catherine, one of my biggest limiting beliefs is I don't deserve success. I don't deserve to have the nice things. I don't deserve to go after and receive it. Like, it's like, and it's not conscious. Like, I'm not sitting there going, oh my gosh, I suck. But like, it's a subconscious belief that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing the mindset work with her, over a year now, where we've been really getting rid of the victim mentality, really diving into the potential and things like that. And, over these last 8 months, I kept saying, October, we're moving, and we get to this weekend, and I was doing some prayer, some meditation, and something told me, look at Facebook, at a marketplace. I go on there, and what is there? This freaking gorgeous blue house that literally is something I had in a vision of, like a dream months ago, which is insane. And it was absolutely perfect. And if the price was ridiculous, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is probably a scam, whatever. Because again, there's that part of us that's like, can't go that easy. Like, this cannot go that easy. Message the person, they got right back to me. And next thing I know, I'm calling you guys. I'm like, hey guys, since you're in Texas, can I have you guys go look at this house for me? And next thing I know, I signed a lease, signed everything. And we now have this house in Texas, and that wasn't easy enough. The next minute is they're like, oh, we're going to bundle all the utilities in for lower than you would expect. We have pest control taken care of. We have all these things taken care of. And I'm just sitting back, like, not used to life going that easily, going, what the heck is happening? And then today, oh, now we have movers for a fraction of what I thought it was going to be. And we don't have to pack and unload and load things. Like, it's just been insane how literally the minute something's supposed to happen, it just all folds together when you've done the work.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. From the coaching perspective of me, working with you for a while and just watching you, like, you don't quit and you've continuously put these things in. But one of the things that you have that is making you successful and is bringing these wins to the forefront that you're getting is you have the ability to visualize. Like, you put the vision in place. So it's a visualization, manifestation. They're very much aligned, by the way, folks. And it may be too woo-woo for you. And if so, too fucking bad, because it works. But you've done that work for months and months and months and months on it, to the point where it's like, why am I even doing this at times? Like, this is kind of bullshit because I'm not getting the results that I want. Well, if you don't quit, you have tenacity, you have grit, you have this unwavering ability to push forward even when you don't want to. You combine that with working your ass off, serving your clients at a very high level, right? Making sure your home space is that sacred space, so your relationship with your husband is on point, right? You still do the work, you still show up even when the days are hard, even when the health crisis comes in and says, hey, don't forget I'm here, because I run into that too. You know for a fact I do, and have several times in my life. And you put all of that together and you don't quit. And then poof, magically one day, there it is, right? And it's like that overnight success thing that everyone talks about. It's like, I'm not overnight success. I've been working my ass off for years to get to where I am, and here is the fruit of my labor. Yeah. With that being said, one of the things that you've been on a massive journey this past year is speaking. Like, you've done a lot of speaking, you've done a lot of webinars, a lot of online, we'll call it summits, webinars, trainings. You go live very frequently on your own social media platforms and profiles, because what you offer at Social Media Doc, you offer stuff like what I use, which is a full package suite where you guys just handle a bunch of stuff for me. You still have to hunt me down and ask me to produce videos for you, but I get them to you eventually. But for yourself and your own team, like you do a lot of this, and there's other ways to get back, because listen, the reality is not everyone is ready to pay what I currently pay you a month in order to have their social media marketing in place. Cool. I get it. With that being said, you have to start somewhere, and you've put together a lot of packages and smaller things that help people like, hey, this is a low ticket, low entry piece. This is kind of, you follow along the guidelines that I'm giving you, you self-implement, and you will get results, with the intention of, you get good enough results, you're going to raise your hand and say, hey, Kaitlyn, I need you to take this over professionally and full time. Right. 100%. So yeah, talk to me a little bit about, these smaller packages and how you've put them together to help others.
Yeah. Like you said, it was twofold. It was, I know that if they follow what's going to be in there, they're going to want to hire me. But also it's for the small guys that can't afford anything right now. It's like for them, because I do have a heart for those startups, because it was that person, whereas like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but here we go. And so being able to have, something that is easy for them to access, be able to take them from step one of, here's how you figure out your what and why. This is how you figure out how to create your Facebook page. This is how you create the posts, things like that. Take them through every step, even some of the stuff that I may feel like is like basic knowledge, because it isn't for everyone. And that's for any industry. Every industry, we all have these things that are like, oh, everybody knows that, and no one does. So I took the time and took everyone in this 72 lesson course, which is insane. And we have like everything built out there, so that way we can offer the support. And then when they do get to that point that they're like, wow, I'm making my own social media, I have clients coming in, they're more likely to be like, Kaitlyn, your business can handle this because you got us to point B to begin with.
Yeah, love it. I love it. So one of the other things that you've done a lot with, and like realistically, two things I'm going to mention here, and I've been late to the game on these. You've worked closely with some other people that we're good friends with and do a lot of life and business with, to create, we'll call them pop-up events or quick meetups, and they've taken off and been very successful. The other thing that you've done a lot of this year is webinars, and you've leveraged the tools in your software suite of tools. And you and I both run our businesses on High Level. That's the main tool we operate with. Yep. And you've been able to go in there and build out, the landing pages, the registrations, the signups, the emails to get people to join the webinar, the emails that remind people that, hey, this is what the webinar is going to be. And then the third set of emails, which is, hey, you attended the webinar, here's the replay, and by the way, here's a bunch of follow-up emails in case you want to do business with me. Right. And like, that's stuff that you and I talk about often. It's like, hey, what's this workflow look like in order to attract, basically get them engaged with us, and then follow up with them afterwards. And it's a very strategic methodology that we've leveraged, and it works pretty well. Can it use some dialing in and get better? Absolutely, because I think everything can. But talk to me about the webinars and how you've hosted them, because it's not just you've also brought in other people to co-host these webinars with you, me being one of them. How has that worked, and what are the results that you've seen from it?
Yeah. So the reason I decided to start bringing people on is because we get in front of that person's audience, A, but also B, if I am willing to add as much value as possible, even on the things that I don't know, but my industry does need, the things that I know is going to help them get to the next level, and I can be a part of introducing that conversation with the right people, because I'm very picky on who I let on my webinars, who I do business in life with, because I know what it's like to pick the wrong people. And so being able to introduce to my audience people of authority that can really help them get further also solidifies my relationship with that person, because if I help them solve a problem that I don't have the solution for, but I know someone that does, they're going to be like, wow, you're like, not only is she helping with my socials, but she hooked me up with this Thomas dude who helped me go high level and all the stuff into place. And now I'm hiring people. Like, that is such an amazing feeling to be a part of someone's success on a bigger level. And it has resulted in conversations, in selling courses and clients and things like that. I can't tell you how many of my clients that end up working with me, it's never a very long call when we get into a sales call, because it's either they want it or they don't, or because they already know what it's about when they get into that call with me. So that's unique.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So seeing me, let me rephrase. I'm supposed to speak for a living. Jesus Christmas. Me seeing you do a lot of this stuff, I pay attention to things that people don't think I'm necessarily paying attention to. It's one of the gifts I've been given in life, right? 2 ears, 1 mouth, shut up and observe more than you speak. And that's funny from a guy who speaks a lot. So, I'm always paying attention to things, and an opportunity presented itself. I believe it was, February-ish, March-ish, where my buddies Richard and Chris over at Mobile Electronics Association needed to fill a slot. There was somebody who was showing up and was filling the role for social media and presenting to the 12-volt, the car audio community, hey, this is the importance of social media. This is what you can do to leverage it and get better at it. That person basically left and basically said, hey, you guys are on your own. I want nothing to do with this, and left them in a bad spot. And I was like, hey, since I got a good relationship with you guys, I have someone over here, other side, camera. I have someone that I trust. Okay. Let me introduce you guys to each other, being you and them. And if this is a fit, put something together. So they invited you out. And I think the first event that you came to was Knowledge Fest in Nashville, Tennessee. And it worked well. Like, you showed up, you did your thing, you put together a very professional presentation, you attracted some clients, you helped some people, you got some leads from it. You repeated it again over this, I think it was June, we did Atlantic City. The next one's coming up here in Dallas, which is going to be September 21st-ish, I think.
22nd.
Oh, September. Okay, September 22nd. It's like 3 days long, right? And it's for the car audio industry. Unless you're in the automotive space, you're not getting in kind of deal. It's kind of a closed audience. But they filled a room. They put a couple hundred people in this event, and there's breakout sessions. And you and I are people who go in and teach these breakout sessions classes to a very a niche down audience who's there for a very specific reason, right? So those people get to choose the sessions that they come into, which is pretty cool. So if they show up in your room, they have interest in what you're about to talk about. Even if it's not, 150 people in the room, even if it's 20 people in the room, you have a captive audience of people who want the knowledge inside your head, which is cool. So long-winded here. That's great. You speak there, this thing's coming up again in September, and you're like, hey, I'm going to be there in September. You hadn't had this house in place yet. And you said to me and Kaitlyn, you're like, hey, you mind if I stay? I'm going to spend an extra week or so there with my husband, Scott, and we're going to go around looking for places and, explore a little bit. I'm like, cool. I'm all for it, because that is exactly what I did before I moved down here from New York. Like, I think I told you, I'm like, you should spend a week down here and look. I probably told you that to somebody.
You did.
Yeah. So you're like, yeah, we're going to spend a week. I'm like, yep, come on down. So we're going to have a crazy ass house full of people here. You're going to be here. Richard's going to be here from MEA. He's spending some time with us. We've got 7 crazy kids at any given time. So it's going to be a zoo here, but we don't want it any other way. With all that being said, we say, shit, well, Kaitlyn's going to be down here. And I said, oh, Kaitlyn and Catherine have been on me for about a year now to put together one of these meetups, these pop-up quick 2-3 hour meetups. I was like, may as well do it while Kaitlyn's here. So we have a very brief conversation. I don't know, a day or two later, the landing page and stuff was built for it. You were voluntold that you were speaking.
I was just going to say, yeah, you mean when you voluntold me and said, hey, since you're down here, guess what? You're speaking.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's happened twice now this year that you're like, by the way, there you go.
So that worked well. And like, that's one of the other things that we want to discuss here while we're on this call today in this podcast, this live video is September 26, 2024. We're hosting an event here in DFW. It's funny because it's literally days before you get the keys to your new place.
I know. I'm going to fly back for literally 4 days and then drive my ass back down to Dallas.
Yep, fly back for 4 days, get your shit, get in the truck, and come down here. But you know, we've got it going on. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's do a little screen share here, and let me bring in the This is the one. And I can't see my screen. There we go. Awesome. So here it is. We've got September 26, 2024. We're meeting at our office, Step It Up Academy office, and myself and you. We've got basically availability for 20 people. We've got a handful of tickets that have been sold and taken up for already. We're keeping this small intentionally because it's not a big room. And matter of fact, you and I tend to like the smaller rooms better. They seem to be more intimate, and you have a better personal connection with people when you get there. So for those of you who are interested, want to come in, want to see us, we got some really good information and content we'll be talking about. Obviously, Kaitlyn's going to be touching on the social media stuff. I'm going to be touching on a lot of the business operations and the back-end marketing stuff as well. And it's only a couple hours, you know, so 1 o'clock to 1:30, we've got networking going on. We've got a couple of, you know, the sessions that you and I are going to put on. We've got networking afterwards as well. And we're going to show up and we're going to provide some of the basics that come along with it. So we're going to provide some stuff to eat. We're going to give you guys some water and coffee and tea, those kind of things. We're not serving any adult beverages because we don't partake in them. Nope. Not that we're against it, but like, hey, this is a business thing. This is professional. And honestly, there's no reason for it. So I'm just really excited to do this with you. I think it comes at a really good time because let me stop sharing this here now because I just want to be me and you. There we go. This is a really good time for it for a couple of reasons, right? It's good for business for both of us. Let's just be super transparent. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, like this is just one more reason why like the universe is conspiring to help you win right now. This is literally happening a week before you move down here, and you're going to get to connect face-to-face with local business owners here in the DFW, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So for me, it's like, oh, this is cool because I get to give back because, you know, I can't stand these fucking bullshit entrepreneurs who are like, yeah, man, I'm self-made. Fuck you, you're not. You're just not. Yeah, you've done the work probably. I won't say you haven't, but people have helped you along the way. Mm-hmm. People helped me along the way. In all different areas of my life, in many different stages, many different companies, many different situations I've been in. People helped me when I decided to move down here. I had people who were on the ground here, similar to you having me here, that helped me check things out, got things ready. Hey, this is the person you want to do business with for this. This is your insurance person. This is your health insurance person. This is your whatever person. And you know, you made that call to myself and Catherine and said, hey, I need help. Yeah. Say no more. Like we got it. And this is one way. This goes back to everything that you and I do when it comes to helping clients. We do the work that we do because we feel good inside when we help others, right? It's a sense of fulfillment that I get, and I know you get it too. So if I could put this one little thing together here that helps you and helps you basically launch the business from a local platform, a local standpoint here in Dallas-Fort Worth, right before you move down, let's roll. So I'm just super excited. I'm grateful to have you down here and do this again with you. We always have a good time when we get together, and you know, it's a real, genuine, authentic, open, direct conversation, and we just have fun together. And you know, a couple of years ago, I would have been all business all the time, and I've literally changed that about me, and I've done a lot of work on the backside. You know this too. I've done a lot of work on the backside to start prioritizing the right things in the right order. right? And for me now, it's like family comes before business. Personal relationships and people who I care for come before business. And then there's business and everything else that comes behind it. So I'm just excited to have you down here and get rolling with this and make things happen, not just for you, but also for myself and Step It Up Academy, the clients we serve here, and just do some cool things to help people.
I'm so excited, like, for the meetup to meet, like you said, meet other business owners, meet people in the room, be able to pour back into them, be able to do this with you, Catherine, and everyone. Like, it's just, that's like full transparency. One of the reasons we're moving down there, like, because having a community that has your back, and that's something that I got from Step It Up Academy and continue to, is a community that not only is there for you online, but actually like gives a shit and wants to like see you succeed. Like that's irreplaceable. And so being able to be local to that and be able to give back as well is just, I'm so excited. Like I just already know. Plus, when you don't get me a video, then I can just drive over to your house and say, "Hey, asshat, get me a video."
I think it's actually going to work out good because we can probably say, hey, you know, every 2 weeks, let's meet for 30 minutes or an hour. We'll talk some business. We'll have some conversations and discussions, you know, from a coaching perspective, from me coaching you in your business. Oh, and while we're at it, let's knock out 3 or 4 videos that you need for the social media content for the next couple of days or week.
Yep.
Exactly. I think it's going to work really well. Yeah. Side note here. So, you know, you've been to my office several times. I'm clearly not, I'm in my office right now. I'm in my home office. I'm talking about my real office. So yesterday when we drove over to your new place that you got, it's maybe 17, 18 minutes from the office. Like it's not far. So, you know, it's going to be one of those things where you get to leverage it, you get to utilize it and use it. And if it comes down to a point where you need to leverage it and utilize it more than I can basically give to you, and I'll get you set up in there the same way I am. It is not much. It's pretty inexpensive to have that virtual office set up and the ability to use that place on a regular basis too, which is cool. And you know, from a business standpoint, one of the cool things is you get a business address at that location too. So, you know, instead of it being your home, which no one really wants to do, and I think every small business owner makes that mistake out of the box. I've done it countless times. You know, we want that business address to be something that's a bit more professional and whatnot. So when people are searching you out and they hit you on the Googles, you show up in the corporate office and not, you know, the 2,000 or 3,000 square foot house that you're in or whatever it may be. Yeah. Love it. What's next for you besides this?
Oh man. First is moving down to Dallas. Like that's the first thing, you know, getting situated down there. And then we're going to start rolling out more local stuff. So, you know, me and my team, I have a team of 3 amazing women that absolutely crush it. And, you know, I've been talking to my COO and, you know, it's going to be one of those things that once we get down there, I just already know, because there's certain things when you're shooting video that people don't think about, right? They shoot video, they're like, here we go, I got my phone, there you go. But there's certain angles, certain like timing, things like that. And being able to be in an area that I can locally grow those roots and help people do that is going to be huge. So I see us definitely expanding the more in-person, taking the content side of things, which is exciting because that's the part I love anyway, because we get to make blooper reels and get to make fun of our clients. They love it so much, right, Thomas? So just being able to have fun with in person with clients and be able to be there, because social media is virtual mostly. And while I love our clients are everywhere, you know, being able to actually be in person and offer higher level services is going to be.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really beneficial for you. And, you know, just thinking about it from a local business approach, it's like, cool, you own a social media marketing agency. And yes, you do service clients nationwide and you have for years. But what happens if you decide to focus more on the local?
Yeah.
Right. You get involved more on the local aspect of it. We start to leverage Google My Business a bit more and attract local clientele. So now you're working with local DFW based business owners, and the ability for you to go in person and meet up with them or record or shoot content for them is a lot easier than if you had to hop on a plane and go 10 states away.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I got some questions for you here.
Yes.
One question in particular that I'm thinking about right now. You've been on a hell of a journey. right? From day one until now. And, compared to me, you've lived a short life so far. We're not going to once again say my age.
Back in the dinosaur ages. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, like you've seen your fair share of life at this point, of all of it, especially, more towards the last couple of years. Like, what's the biggest takeaway and lesson that you would like to give over to someone else who may be getting started, or maybe they're hitting some bumps in the road and they just can't figure this shit out? What's the biggest piece of advice that made the biggest difference on you, and what would you tell to others?
Look internal. That would be my biggest thing. Is the moment I started looking internally, owning the parts of me that I was scared of, owning the pieces of me that made me cringe, owning the parts I like and don't like, and being able to get really vulnerable with myself and see where I am falling short, being able to look internally and make that shift from it's Bob's fault, it's Karen's fault, it's this person's fault, right? Because there's always someone we can blame. Yep. But when we start looking internally and taking ownership, start looking at, okay, but what is my part in this? What can I do to fix this situation? And is it mine to fix too? That part too, because that's something Catherine had to get with me, because I'm a fixer by nature. Like, I love fixing everybody's problems. And in the process, Kaitlyn's burning on a pile in the back, like with the white flag, barely surviving. And so for being able to look and see what is mine to fix and doing that internal search has been the most impactful thing.
Yeah, I love it. I appreciate you sharing that too. This has been awesome. I love you coming on the show. I love you as a human, as a person, as a friend, as a client. And I'm excited to get you down here so we can just do some more things, some bigger things, some better things, and continue to help people.
Agreed. I'm so excited. There's just so much that for both our businesses, I already know it's going to be amazing. And I'm excited for the event coming up on the 26th to be able to meet more business owners, be able to get around more people, meet some familiar faces, some that aren't familiar, and just be around good humans.
Yeah, for real. I'm going to sign off and leave it at this, but there's power in proximity. And you can look at that from both a negative and a positive perspective too. Sometimes we're around the wrong people and we need to get out of that proximity, and vice versa. Sometimes, we need to get into a different circle or around a different group of people. I'm not saying, go infiltrate, but, go to a different area. For instance, my version of it was like, hey, I'm a born and raised Long Island New Yorker who moved here to Dallas, Texas 4 years ago. And it opened up a world of opportunity for me.
Yeah.
And like, I can't wait to see you experience that and see what it's like doing life and business down here. It's definitely different. It moves at a different pace. People are different. It's much more business friendly, in my opinion. And, I look at it this way. You tell someone here in the DFW area that you're in business for yourselves, and you don't get funny looks.
Yeah.
You're always like, oh, cool. What do you do? How can you help me? Because, matter of fact, chances are the person you're talking to, they're most likely going to be a business owner as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Love it. All right. Once again, thank you, Kaitlyn, for joining us on the Step It Up Entrepreneur podcast. This wonderful live episode that we streamed out to Facebook today. I look forward to seeing you here in a short couple of weeks and doing some cool stuff.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me on again, and look forward to coming to Texas.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Thank you for tuning in to the Step It Up Entrepreneur podcast. Make sure you head over to stepitupentrepreneur.com and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Step It Up Entrepreneur podcast.